It was, as I recall now, like a pristine, untouched wilderness as our float plane touched down that June morning on the narrow V-shaped lake aptly named Cleavage. Jack and I had heard tale of the lunker lakers that anglers were hauling out of Cleavage in recent weeks, so we had lofty, elevated expectations as the plane's nose skimmed the lake surface, preparing for touchdown. We couldn't wait to get our camp set up atop one of these shoreline mounds. Jack and I had heard how this lake can get nasty on you, but so far she was only offering her pristine beauty. We gazed down the length of the tapered lake. It seemingly disappeared into a dark tunnel of tangled brush at the far end, and on each side, rising proudly from the Cleavage shoreline, were two perfectly perky mounds. Mirror images of one another, it almost seemed. Ice Age glaciers, you see, had scarred the underside of each mound, making them appear almost fake. And atop each mound, almost as if planted by hand, were matching globe cedar trees. Well, it only took about an hour or so to land our first fish. Loaded with bait and tackle and licking our lips with anticipation, we pointed our nose into the deepest part of Cleavage as a schoolboy excitement wafted over us. We were perched right between those ascending, impressive mounds when Jack got a big one on his line. He fought it for a while, but it got tangled in some underwater brush. And just then, my rod suddenly sprung to action. And I had a lunker on. I jerked my rod with an assertive tug and got the desired result. Remember, this is just a fish story. We spent 3 blissful days motor boating in Cleavage. And when the fish weren't biting, we'd set off to explore those glorious mounds, rising proudly from the murky depths of Cleavage. Jack and I agreed wholeheartedly that we love Cleavage, and that we'd be back to enjoy her offerings and forage her underwater folds for the lunkers that had this time at least eluded us. As our plane scooped us up and soared into the sky above the far end of the lake, a wave of sadness swept over us, until we then realized that next week we'd be on another journey, taking our wives on a fishing trip to Lake Filateo. We just can't wait.